Check out what's trending in this week's Afro here on The Rundown. Welcome to The Rundown, sponsored by Be Inspired Global Media. I'm your host, Micha Green, and here are this week's trending stories. In national news, well, folks, it has been a week. In the last rundown, we told you about George Floyd, who was pinned down by a Minneapolis police officer, Derek Chauvin. While arrested and charged, people are still outraged because a black man was unlawfully murdered in broad daylight and on camera as Chauvin dug his knee into the neck. Many protesters are calling on Minneapolis prosecutors to charge the other three. Thousands are rallying across the nation, and the U.S. National Guard has been deployed to 23 states. Major cities have had imposed curfews. For example, in the nation's capital, it was 7 p.m., but after peaceful protests, now the curfew is 11 p.m. But another reason why protesters in D.C. are particularly irritated is because on Monday, President Donald Trump decided to walk to St. John's Episcopal Church, Lafayette Square, a church that was damaged from protests across the street from the White House. And it's often called the President's Church since every president since James Madison has attended the parish. However, Trump wanted to walk and order police to tear gas and forcefully move protesters so he could walk across the street. The president didn't even go inside or pray, and he was holding a Bible and didn't even quote scripture. It seemed to just be a photo op that caused a lot of violence for peaceful protesters, infuriating the DC mayor and church leaders such as Episcopal Diocese of Washington Bishop Marianne Edgar Buddy, who called the president's actions a charade. Despite the National Guard's presence, the peaceful protesters are continuing to hit the streets. In Baltimore news, former Mayor Sheila Dixon is leading the mayoral race with 49% of the vote as of Wednesday morning. Former Congressman Kweisi Mfume is overwhelmingly leading the 7th Congressional Democratic primary race by 77%. And initial returns show Nick Mosby leading the Baltimore City Council presidential race. Finally, in DC news, Washingtonians came out for voting, creating long lines and people waiting up to 4 to 5 hours. Early reports for the council shows that in Ward 4, Jay Niche George is leading against incumbent Brandon Todd. And in Ward 2, it's super close with Brooke Pinto beating Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner Patrick Kennedy by a narrow lead. Incumbents in Wards 7 and 8, Vincent Gray and Trayvon White, and at-large council member Robert White are projected to win their races. Go to afro.com to check out all of our stories, or just subscribe to the website for instant access. And don't forget to like and share this video, and subscribe to the Be Inspired Global Media YouTube channel for more content sponsored by the Afro. Again, I'm your host, Micha Green, and make sure you tune into next week's edition of The Rundown.